Hey, what's up everyone? Hope you're having a good evening tonight. Alright, so let's take a look at the total crypto market cap and get the night started off. Alright, so bears continue to gain momentum on the MACD for the weekly. We still have a bearish cross on the stochastic. The RSI is currently in the bearish control zone. And the price action on the candles isn't really looking the best. So far we still don't have a lower low, which is what we want to hold above. For the daily, bears losing momentum on the MACD with a bullish cross on the stochastic. Still in the bearish control zone for the daily as well. Currently looks like the candles are attempting to form resistance at previous support. So that's not really looking that great here. Four-hour bulls gaining momentum, bullish cross on the stochastic. There is some 4-hour bullish divergence, which that's nice to see at least. And I just moved my fib levels. Let me just adjust that. There we go. So on the candles, we go from a low to a lower low. Meanwhile, on the RSI, we go from a low to a higher low. So that would be a bullish divergence, a sign of potential reversal back to the upside. With the bulls gaining momentum and a bullish cross on the stochastic, it's possible that we hold this level, but this is going to be a pretty key support level for the total crypto market cap. So if we form resistance and start to fall further, it's not going to be looking that great, but as long as we don't form some lower lows on the larger time frames, still looking all right. But I'd really like to see the support level hold, and at the very least I really don't want to see us form some lower lows. One hour, bulls attempting to gain slight momentum, stochastic's bullish but beginning to coil up. Neutral on the RSI, and just a lot of consolidation on these candles currently. So it's going to be an interesting week for both the total crypto market cap and likely Bitcoin as well. Okay, weekly, bears gaining momentum on the MACD, stochastics crossed bearish, bearish control zone on the RSI. And same thing as total crypto market cap, looks like Bitcoin's attempting to form resistance at previous support levels. Bears losing momentum on the MACD for the daily, bullish cross on the stochastic, bearish control zone on the RSI, and candles are looking pretty shaky. Four-hour, bulls losing momentum, stochastics cross bearish but beginning to coil up pretty tight. Neutral on the RSI, and it does look like we're attempting to form some resistance at previous support levels. Ideally, I would like to see this support line here hold, and worst comes to worst, I just don't want to see any lower lows on the larger time frames. At that point, the total crypto market and Bitcoin will start to be looking a lot more shaky. 1 hour, bears losing momentum on the MACD, stochastics coiling up pretty heavily, neutral on the RSI. Yeah, 1 hour so far, as long as we're holding above this support level, it's not looking completely horrible, but I'm still not really liking the looks of the price action here. Consistent lower lows, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So we are in a little downtrend currently. So let's see if this support level here is going to hold or if this is going to break over the coming days. Alright, so for Ethereum, bears gaining momentum on the MACD for the weekly, bearish cross on the stochastic. Neutral on the RSI for now, but attempting to enter the bearish control zone. And just consolidating on this candle so far this week. On the daily, bears losing momentum on the MACD with a bullish cross on the stochastic. Very, very slightly in the bearish control zone on the RSI. Yes, same thing here. It's just looking like lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So, small downtrend currently. 4-hour bulls attempting to gain some momentum with a bullish cross on the stochastic. 4-hour bullish divergence on Ethereum as well, so that's nice to see at least. One hour. Bulls losing very slight momentum on this hourly candle with a bearish cross on the stochastic. RSI still in the bullish control zone for now. And a lot of consolidation on the hourly candles, but we are in a pretty clear, very small downtrend currently. So same thing as Bitcoin and total crypto market cap. I would really like to see the current support level hold. XRP would probably be the most interesting chart to me today currently so far. We were in a very, very large pennant since, let's see, started back around December of 2020. And now we're making an attempt at breaking below the pennant. So we're either going to come up slightly and confirm resistance at the bottom of the pennant, and at that case, it's not going to be looking great for XRP at all. Or XRP is going to break back into this pennant, and at that point things will be looking fine. But it's going to be a really interesting, probably I'd say 2 to 4 weeks for XRP to see how this all plays out with the pennant. Bears are gaining momentum on the MACD, bearish cross on the stochastic, bearish control zone on the RSI, and it did break below the pennant. So now I'm going to be keeping a close eye to see whether we get back into the pennant or if we form the resistance right against the bottom of the pennant here. In that case, XRP could be in for a very dirty pullback if we see that play out. Daily, bears losing momentum on the MACD with a bullish cross on the stochastic. We were just oversold on the RSI, now we're just consolidating in the bearish control zone. And so far it's looking like almost a small bear flag. Not really looking the greatest, especially with the current daily candle. Bulls gaining momentum on the MACD for the 4-hour with a bullish cross on the stochastic. There is 4-hour bullish divergence, so that's nice at least. So maybe this will help XRP get back into the pennant. Bulls gaining momentum on the MACD for the 1-hour, bullish cross on the stochastic, but the stochastic is beginning to coil up. Neutral on the RSI, and some pretty heavy consolidation on the hourly chart here. So definitely one of the more interesting charts, and I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on XRP to see how this plays out. And VVS, last I had looked at it, it had a pretty dirty pullback, so I'm going to take a quick look at this one and see how that's looking today. Okay, bears continue to gain momentum on, one sec, I'm going to adjust to the daily here. Bears continue to gain momentum on the daily MACD, quite oversold on the RSI though, which is nice at least. Bullish cross on the stochastic. And just consolidating currently, which doesn't surprise me after being as oversold as we currently are. And we do have some 4-hour bullish divergence on VVS, which is nice to see here. So the candles goes from a low to a lower low. Meanwhile, the RSI goes from a low to a higher low. So that would be a bullish divergence, a sign of potential reversal back to the upside. A bullish cross on the stochastic under the 20 is very nice. It's also an indication that we could be reversing here back to the upside. And bears are losing momentum on the MACD, which is definitely what we want to be seeing here. If the bears continue to lose momentum and we see some bullish momentum beginning to build, it would be possible that we have a bottom here on VVS, but this is going to depend very heavily on what happens with the total crypto market cap and Bitcoin, since those control most of the crypto market. On the hourly, bulls gaining a little momentum on the MACD, still in the bearish control zone on the RSI, bullish cross on the stochastic though, and now we're just consolidating here while the market decides what it wants to do. So VVS is looking quite interesting today. Definitely a pretty dirty downtrend on it, but starting to show signs of a potential reversal on this asset. Alright, polar, bears losing momentum on the MACD for the daily, bullish cross on the stochastic. Still in the bearish control zone for the RSI, but we were just pretty close to oversold, and now some pretty heavy consolidation over the past 4 days. For the 4 hour, bulls are losing momentum with a bearish cross on the stochastic. Still in the bearish control zone slightly for the RSI, and heavy consolidation on the 4 hour as well. 1 hour, bears losing a bit of momentum with a bullish cross on the stochastic, neutral on the RSI, and some heavy consolidation. So no clear indication that this would be the bottom for polar. It is nice that it was just slightly close to the oversold region, and now we got a little bit of a bullish cross starting with some bearish momentum getting lost. Still not looking the greatest though. If we see the support level we're currently at break, this could be in for quite a pullback, so I'll be keeping a close eye on polar over the coming days and weeks. Not sure where the sphere chart that I've been looking at the past couple of streams went. Sphere went as high as I believe it was 12 cents, and there was a lot more information available on it, so I'm not quite sure where that chart went, but I'll take a look at this quick. Alright, so since this is a newer chart, we don't have information available on the 4 hour or the daily for some of the indicators. The hourly, bulls are gaining a bit of momentum with a bullish cross on the stochastic. We were pretty significantly oversold, and there's actually a little bit of bullish divergence here. And now we're attempting to bullishly engulf. Overall, it's quite a dirty downtrend though, especially from where we were at the highs. If I can get more information on the 4 hour and daily, I'd have a better idea on what's likely to happen here. Just based off the 1 hour, it looks like this could be a potential bottom for this asset, but the way that there's not much information available and it already had a pretty dirty pullback, I wouldn't act on this information alone. It's looking alright on the hourly at least. Alright, so let's see how Dogecoin's looking today. I'll be back in just one moment.
shaking her umbrella, and I look the other way as they are kissing their hellos, and I'm pretending not to see them, and instead I pour the milk. On the corner, I am and to pour the coffee. I am before I even argue. He is at somebody coming in. It is always nice to see you, says the man behind the counter to the woman who has come in. She is shaking her umbrella, and I look the other way as they are kissing their hellos, and I'm pretending not to see them, and instead I pour the milk.
Hi, what's up? Sorry for the wait. Alright, so Dogecoin. Bulls losing momentum on the MACD for the weekly. Stochastics coiled up pretty heavily. So that's likely, this would be a sign of a likely large move to come soon. Bearish control zone on the RSI, and the candles on the weekly aren't looking that great. We are in a pretty dirty downtrend currently, and I don't like the way how we only wicked back into the fib extensions just for us to come down lower, form some lower lows. And then this was actually a lower high than the previous wick. So, attempted to get back in, failed. Attempted to get back into the fib extension again, failed. And I wouldn't be surprised if we do see some further pullback just based off the weekly. Now for the daily, bears are losing a bit of momentum on the MACD. Stochastics coiled up below the 20 zone, so that's looking nice at least. Neutral on the RSI, but very close to the bearish control zone. And just consolidating on the daily currently for the candles. Yeah, I don't really like the price action on the weekly that much. For the 4 hour, bulls are gaining some slight momentum on the MACD. Stochastic is cross bullish but coiled up pretty heavily. Bearish control zone on the RSI. And now just some heavy consolidation on the candles here. For the 1 hour, bulls gaining momentum on the MACD. Stochastic is coiled up but attempting to cross bearish. Neutral on the RSI. And heavy consolidation on the 1 hour here. So, just based off the weekly here, I wouldn't really be surprised whatsoever if we do see some further pullback on Doge. If we get one final run up for the market cycle, I love this for an accumulation zone, but that'll all depend if we get one more run up or not for the cycle. And let's take a look at Shiba Inu and see how that's looking tonight. Bears gaining slight momentum on the MACD for the weekly. Stochastics cross bearish. RSI is in the bearish control zone. And now we are currently attempting to bearishly engulf and break support. So Shiba Inu's not looking any better than Doge on the weekly. Bears losing some slight momentum on the MACD for the daily with a bullish cross on the stochastic. Bearish control zone on the RSI after being pretty close to oversold, but not quite. And this is almost looking like we have a little bit of a bear flag going on here, which is not great whenever it's attempting to break support like it is currently. Bulls gaining very, very slight momentum on the 4 hour MACD. Stochastic is coiled up heavily. Bearish control zone on the RSI after being oversold. Let's see. Yeah, there's no bullish divergence. This RSI low is actually very, very slightly lower than this one, so that's not good either. 1 hour, bulls attempting to gain momentum, but not really looking that great yet. Slight bullish cross on the stochastic. Bearish control zone very slightly actually on the RSI. And heavy consolidation looking like it is attempting to potentially form another lower low, which would break support for Shiba Inu. So, not really liking the looks of this asset whatsoever currently. Most of the cryptos right now are looking pretty dusty. Alright, so let's take a look at the US stock indexes and precious metals. Dow Jones, bears are gaining momentum on the MACD for the weekly with a bearish cross on the stochastic, bearish control zone on the RSI. I do like the way that we came down, touched the 236 fib level, and then we just wicked right back up. Daily, bears lost very, very slight momentum, but stochastic is still crossed bearish. Bearish control zone on the RSI. And it does look like it's actually attempting to still bearishly engulf here on the daily. 4 hour looks slightly better. There's actually some 4 hour bullish divergence. So the candles goes from a low to a lower low, which perfectly touched the 236 fib level. Meanwhile, the RSI goes from a low to a higher low, with a bullish cross on the stochastic and bears losing momentum. So this 4 hour bullish divergence with the bullish cross and bears losing momentum would be very nice if we start to see this play out as a potential reversal. If not, there's definitely a lot of downside potential on the stock indexes. The next fib level from here, if we were to break this support, would be the 382 at 29,663 points for the Dow Jones. So that'd be a pretty significant pullback at that point. And the stronger support would be the 0.5 fib, which would be 27,449. Yeah, on the smaller time frames, it looks like it's just attempting to hold on here, but still not looking the greatest, honestly. Let's see how the Nasdaq is looking. Weekly, bears gaining momentum on the MACD with a bearish cross on the stochastic, bearish control zone on the RSI. We actually do have some weekly bullish divergence, so that is very significant actually. So the candles goes from a low to lower low. Meanwhile, the RSI goes from a low to a higher low. And the weekly is one of the most significant time frames. So the fact that there's weekly bullish divergence on the Nasdaq, that gives me a little bit more hope for the stock index. We do still have a bearish cross on the stochastic, and the bears are still gaining momentum on the MACD though, so I'm going to remain pretty cautious on the stock indexes for now. Bears losing momentum on the MACD for the daily. Stochastic is attempting to cross bearish, coiled up below the 20 zone. Still in the bearish control zone on the RSI. And so far it looks like it's fighting to see whether or not we're going to form resistance at this fib level, or if this is going to act as a strong support and it's going to bounce back from here. So pretty well all the markets, both crypto and stocks, it's going to be a really interesting 2 to 4 weeks for these asset classes. Bears losing momentum on the MACD for the 4 hour with a bullish cross on the stochastic, neutral now on the RSI, and we're attempting to bullishly engulf and hold the fib level as support currently. So the Nasdaq is looking a bit nicer than it was to close the week last week. Bulls gaining momentum on the MACD for the 1 hour, stochastics coiled up pretty heavily. Bullish control zone on the RSI, and it looks like we have a slight bull flag going on here, where the flag is actually right above the fib level here. So, potential that we have a bottom on the Nasdaq here, but I'm going to remain cautious until we see some bullish price action begin to come in. Alright, so let's see what the S&P 500's looking like. Bears gaining momentum on the MACD for the weekly with a bearish cross on the stochastic, bearish control zone on the RSI. Attempting to form a bullish hammer, but still looking pretty choppy here on the weekly. And bears losing momentum on the MACD for the daily. Bearish cross on the stochastic, but it's coiled up below the 20 zone. And we do have some daily bullish divergence on the S&P. Not as significant as the weekly bullish divergence we have on the Nasdaq, but still very nice to be seeing. So on the candles we go from a low to a lower low. Meanwhile the RSI we go from a low to a higher low. So that would be a bullish divergence, a sign of potential reversal back to the upside, with the bears losing momentum on the MACD and the candles attempting to hold here. It's not looking as horrible as it was last week either, just like the Nasdaq, looking a bit better to start the week currently. Stochastic is still cross bearish though, and we're at a zone where we could be forming resistance at previous support. So we're at a key inflection point for pretty well all the US stock indexes currently. And 4 hour bears losing momentum on the MACD, bullish cross on the stochastic, 4 hour bullish divergence as well, and really just consolidating here while the market decides what to do next. 1 hour bulls gaining momentum on the MACD, stochastics coiled up pretty heavily. 1 hour bullish divergence as well, so that's really nice to see. And same thing as Nasdaq, looks like we have a small bull flag going on the smaller time frames. So over the next 2 to 4 weeks is going to be very crucial for the US stock indexes and likely crypto. But just over the next week we could see some very interesting price action play out. So it's going to be a pretty wild week for the markets, I'm thinking. Alright, so let's take a look at precious metals and see how those are looking tonight. Gold, the bears are gaining momentum on the MACD for the first time since October 2021 with a bearish cross on the stochastic. Still neutral on the RSI, but it is starting to get pretty close to the bearish control zone. And 3 weeks straight of bearish engulfing candles currently. For the daily, bears are gaining momentum on the MACD. We have a bearish cross on the stochastic. Bearish control zone on the RSI. And small little downtrend here, consistent lower highs and lower lows. For the 4 hour, bears are losing a bit of momentum on the MACD with a bullish cross on the stochastic, bullish divergence on the 4 hour. It's quite a lot of asset classes and assets that are currently showing some bullish divergence present. So the candles goes from a low to a lower low. Meanwhile, the RSI goes from a low to a higher low. So that's a sign of potential reversal back to the upside, with a bullish cross on the stochastic and bears losing momentum on the MACD. So if the bears continue to lose some momentum, we might see some bullish momentum begin to build. Stochastic's already crossed bullish, but it could become a more clear bullish cross. And if the candles holds here and begins to rally a bit, could be a potential bottom on gold. I'm still remaining cautious on this, along with most assets currently, but starting to show signs of a potential reversal. 1 hour bulls gaining momentum on the MACD with a bullish cross on the stochastic. Bearish control zone for now on the RSI, and some pretty heavy consolidation here on the hourly candles. Yeah, I'm going to take a look at silver, and if there's anything that you guys want me to check out for you tonight, just let me know, and then I'll check that out right after. Alright, so for silver, bears gaining momentum on the MACD for the weekly with a bearish cross on the stochastic. Bearish control zone on the RSI. And for now, we are still holding the double bottom that we've formed since December of 2021. So I'm liking the looks of that at least. I don't like the bears gaining momentum and the bearish cross and the bearish control zone on the RSI though. So silver, along with most assets, is going to be a pretty key inflection zone in a couple of weeks to play out for here. Even this week we could see some really wild price action begin to play out. So for the daily, bears losing momentum on the MACD with a bullish cross on the stochastic. We are currently oversold on the RSI for the daily, so that's nice at least. And now some pretty heavy consolidation on the daily candle. Bulls attempting to gain momentum on the MACD for the 4 hour with a bullish cross on the stochastic. 4 hour bullish divergence, which I really like the looks of. Yeah, there's bullish divergence on quite a lot of assets currently. So low, lower low on the candles, low, higher low on the RSI, sign of potential reversal back to the upside, bullish cross on the stochastic, which is what we want to see, especially under the 20 zone like it did, and bears losing momentum on the MACD, pretty close to potentially bulls starting to gain momentum. So potential bottom on silver, but remaining cautious. 1 hour bulls gaining momentum on the MACD, bullish cross on the stochastic. 1 hour bullish divergence, neutral on the RSI, and making a small attempt at bullishly engulfing here on the 1 hour candle. So that's looking alright too, at least. And let's take a look at a couple of stocks and see how those are looking today. Alright, so Tesla, bears gaining momentum on the MACD for the weekly with a bearish cross on the stochastic, neutral on the RSI for now. And looking like we got some consolidation going on here. Bears losing very slight momentum on the MACD for the daily with a bullish cross on the stochastic. Still in the bullish control zone for now on the RSI. And making a small attempt at bullish engulfing here, but looks more like consolidation than anything on the daily. 4 hour, bears losing momentum on the MACD, stochastic slightly crossed bullish. Bearish control zone for the RSI, but looks like it's attempting to get into the neutral zone. And pretty heavy consolidation on the 4 hour candles. 1 hour bulls gaining momentum with a bullish cross on the stochastic. Yeah, just looks more like consolidation than anything here on the 1 hour candles. Looked like it was close to a small inverse head and shoulders, but the right shoulder is lower than the left. For an inverse head and shoulders, the right shoulder, we would like it to be higher than the left shoulder. So that would be an invalidation right there. So yeah, it just looks more like consolidation than anything going on here on Tesla. Looking pretty choppy on the weekly, but it looks like it is attempting to form support at where we had this previous top here. If we do form support here, could be in for a nice rally from this point, but we really want to see this previous top hold as a support level for Tesla. Alright, Amazon. We got a pullback to the 382 fib level, $2,373. I do like the way that it just wicked down to the fib level, and now it's attempting to form a bullish hammer. The bears are gaining momentum on the MACD with a bearish cross on the stochastic, though. And the RSI were pretty close to oversold, just above the oversold region. Daily bears gaining momentum on the MACD. Stochastic is cross bullish but coiling up pretty heavily. Slightly oversold on the RSI for the daily. So ideally we would like to see this get back above the 236 fib level, and if not, it could be forming resistance at previous support. So it's going to be very important for Amazon to get back above the 236 fib level, which that would be at, let's see, 2,934.50. If we see it get back above, won't be looking horrible at that point. It's pretty interesting looking chart. A lot of stocks have been having some pretty wild pullbacks. Netflix, for example. This one has had a very crazy pullback. Yeah, Netflix were almost pulled back to the 786. So once we get below the 618, this is typically where I'll begin to accumulate an asset that I'm bullish on. So Netflix has pulled back to my accumulation zone. And once we get to the 786, that's typically where I'll start to pick up heavier bags on an asset I'm bullish on. If something like Dogecoin gets down to the bottom of the fib extension, which Dogecoin is actually below it currently, that's when I'll pick up my heaviest bags if I'm bullish on the asset. So Netflix is currently at the accumulation zone though. So if I were to be bullish on this long term based on the fundamentals, this would be a zone that I would begin to accumulate this asset at. Weekly bears getting momentum on the MACD. Stochastic coiled up pretty heavily below the 20. Quite oversold on the weekly RSI. Daily bears losing momentum on the MACD with a bullish cross on the stochastic. There's actually daily bullish divergence on Netflix, so that's quite nice to see. And now we are just consolidating pretty heavily on the daily candles. 4-hour bulls gaining a bit of momentum. Stochastic is slightly cross bullish. Still oversold on the RSI for the 4-hour, and pretty heavy consolidation on the candles. 1-hour bulls attempting to gain momentum, but not really much to talk about yet. Bullish cross on the stochastic. Neutral on the RSI, and heavy consolidation on the candles for the 1-hour. So the weekly's still looking pretty choppy. I do like how oversold we are though. And the daily, I like the looks of the daily bullish divergence. So it's possible that Netflix has found a bottom here, but we're going to see pretty soon over the next 1 to 4 weeks how this all plays out. I'm just going to be back in one more moment. Alright, I'm back. Yo, what's up, Gabe? Hope you're having a good night tonight. Anything you want me to check out for you? I was just taking a look at Netflix and the pretty dirty pullback that it had. GRT. I remember that we were talking about this the other day, so I'll check out that one for you. Or GST, there we go. Alright, so since this is a newer asset, I don't have any information available on the MACD. Bearish cross on the stochastic. Still neutral on the RSI for now. After we had the pullback, it looks like, let's see. Yeah, higher high, higher low, higher lows all the way up, higher high right here. It's not looking horrible on the 4 hour. If we can hold this fib level here and form support at previous resistance, that'll be looking quite nice at that point. Yeah, it's a newer chart, so it's kind of hard to get a better idea on what's really going on with it until we get some more information developing. For the 1 hour, bears lost very slight momentum on this candle. Bullish cross on the stochastic though, which is nice to see. Still slightly in the bullish control zone on the RSI. I would really like to see it form another high and break above here so that we don't form a double top right here. Overall, it doesn't look horrible though. I'd just be keeping a close eye on it since there's not much information to work with. It's hard to get a better idea on what's really going to happen over the mid to long term on this. So ideally, if we hold above the 618 fib level, which would be $6.18, be looking pretty nice at that point if we can form some support here. If we double top and start to pull back, I'd be keeping a close eye on it at that point, but it's not looking horrible at this point. Anything else that you want me to check out for you tonight? Alright, Nintendo. Bears gaining momentum on the MACD for the weekly. Bearish cross on the stochastic. Bearish control zone on the RSI. Yeah, I'll check out GMT right now. I'll just come back to Nintendo later. Is this the right chart? This looks like a pretty nice uptrend as well. Ideally, I would like to see us hold the 0.5 fib level, $2.25.5. And if we form higher lows above where we did right here, would be looking nice and would confirm the uptrend. Daily, bears gaining momentum on the MACD with a bearish cross on the stochastic. Bearish divergence on the daily though, so I'd remain cautious because of that. Yeah, it sounds good. So you can see how we go from high to higher high here, but the RSI we go from high to lower high. So that would be a bearish divergence, a sign of potential reversal back to the downside. So between the bearish divergence, bearish cross on the stochastic, and bears gaining momentum on the MACD, I would be pretty cautious with this asset. Wouldn't surprise me if we do see some further pullback just based off the daily. 4-hour bears are attempting to gain a bit of momentum on the MACD again. Stochastic is very slightly cross bullish, but coiling up pretty heavily. Bearish control zone on the RSI, and attempting to bearishly engulf on the 4-hour candles. Bears losing a bit of momentum on the MACD for the 1-hour. Stochastic is coiling up though, cross bullish, but starting to coil up like it's attempting to decide what to do next. Bearish control zone on the RSI, we were just slightly oversold, and now we pulled back up, and bearish control zone looks like it is attempting to still bearishly engulf and pull down further. There's a little bit of 1-hour bullish divergence, but the daily bearish divergence is definitely a lot more significant than what's going on here on the 1-hour. Yeah, man, I'm hoping GST does some crazy stuff for you. Going to take a little bit more of a look into that project later. So GMT is not really looking the best. Maybe the 1-hour bullish divergence could get it to hold support here, and it has been trading in this area for a while. It is looking pretty choppy to me though. If we begin to form some lower lows from here, it could be in for quite a pullback at that point. Anything else that you want me to take a look at for you tonight? Alright, AION, bulls losing momentum on the MACD for the weekly, bearish cross on the stochastic, bearish control zone on the RSI, and not really looking the best, lower highs and lower lows here. Yeah, I'll take a look at Solana in 1 minute. I'm just going to finish taking a look at AION quick, and then I'll get to Solana for you. Bears losing momentum on the MACD for the daily with a bullish cross on the stochastic. We were oversold on the RSI, but now we're still in the bearish control zone. And it does look like it wants to continue to pull back further. Bulls losing momentum on the MACD for the 4-hour with a bearish cross on the stochastic. We were just oversold on the RSI, came back up to the neutral zone, or pretty close to neutral, and now pulled back to the bearish control zone further. Bears gaining momentum on the MACD for the 1-hour, cross bearish on the stochastic, but it's beginning to coil up. Neutral on the RSI, and some pretty heavy consolidation here, but this is looking more bearish than bullish currently. Alright, so let's see how Solana's looking. And if there's anything else that you want me to check out after this, just let me know and I'll get to that right away. Bears gaining momentum on the MACD for the weekly with a bearish cross on the stochastic. And there was some bearish divergence here before this began to pull back as well on the weekly. So we went from a high to a higher high on the candles, but a high to a lower high on the RSI. So that would be a bearish divergence, sign of potential reversal back to the downside. We started to pull back after that. Bears gaining momentum, bearish cross on the stochastic. We are in the bearish control zone now on the RSI. Pulled back up to neutral a little bit. That was when it attempted to bullishly engulf above the 0.5 fib level. Got rejected, came back down, and now it's attempting to break support right here. So currently looking more bearish than bullish just based off the weekly here. For the daily, bears losing very slight momentum with a bullish cross on the stochastic, bearish control zone on the RSI, and looks almost like a little bit of a bear flag going on here. And it's attempting to bearishly engulf on this daily candle. Bulls gaining momentum on the MACD for the 4 hour, stochastic's coiled up pretty heavily, bearish control zone on the RSI, and making a small attempt at bearish engulfing on the candles currently. Even the smaller time frames are looking more bearish than bullish currently. Neutral on the RSI, but very close to the bearish control zone. Heavy consolidation on the candles. Stochastic attempting to cross bearish. And the MACD is looking pretty choppy. Attempting to gain bullish momentum, but not really all that much to talk about there. And it is only the 1 hour. Yeah, overall Solana is looking nice bit more bearish than bullish to me, especially if we see the support level give out at around 77.7 cents. If that breaks, could be in for a very dirty pullback at that point. Anything else you want me to check out tonight? Alright, Nintendo. Bears gaining momentum on the MACD for the weekly with a bearish cross on the stochastic, bearish control zone on the RSI, and making an attempt at breaking support. Bears gaining momentum on the MACD for the daily, stochastic's cross bearish but coiling up pretty heavily. We are oversold quite significantly here on the daily RSI. Definitely a dirty downtrend here currently on the daily candles though. Oh, no problem at all, man. If you ever want me to check out anything else, just let me know. Bears gaining momentum on the MACD for the 4 hour, bearish cross on the stochastic. Quite oversold on the 4 hour RSI already, but no bullish divergence to talk about. And just a real dirty downtrend here on the smaller time frames. Stochastic's coiling up below the 20 on the 1 hour. Bullish divergence on the RSI for the 1 hour, but the larger time frames, it's definitely more significant than the 1 hour. Bears losing a bit of momentum on the MACD. Overall, the weekly doesn't look that great for Nintendo. If we can hold support here, right where we're pretty close to this little top that we had before we got a pullback, might be looking a bit better at that point, but for now it does look a lot more bearish than bullish for Nintendo currently. Well, if there's nothing else that you guys want to see, I'll probably check out 1 or 2 more assets and then call it a night. Alright, Apple. Bears gaining momentum on the MACD for the weekly with a bearish cross on the stochastic. Neutral on the RSI for now. Just consolidating currently on this weekly candle after a month-long pullback. Bears losing a bit of momentum on the MACD for the daily with a bullish cross on the stochastic. Bearish control zone on the RSI. And just attempting to hold here as support now currently. Still not looking the best, but could be looking worse. So this would be the support line that we currently have for Apple. So it does have more room to pull back further down to about $145 USD. And as long as it doesn't break that, it'll still be looking alright. Bears losing a bit of momentum on the MACD for the 4 hour. Stochastic's coiling up like it may attempt to cross bullish. 4 hour bullish divergence, which is nice to see. So we go from low to lower low on the candles, but low to higher low on the RSI. So that'd be bullish divergence, sign of potential reversal back to the upside. Bears losing a bit of momentum. If the stochastic crosses bullish and we begin to see a little rally on candles, could be looking better for Apple at that point. Bears losing momentum on the MACD for the hourly, bullish cross on the stochastic, 1 hour bullish divergence, and making a small attempt at a rally. So Apple's looking better than a lot of stocks currently. This bullish divergence could play out into a little rally, or if it pulls back further, it just needs to hold that $145 level, the support line, and it'll still be looking alright at that point. And if there's nothing else that you guys want to see, I'll take a look at Meta quick and then call it a night. Bears losing significant momentum on the MACD for the weekly. Bullish cross on the stochastic. Weekly bullish divergence, so that is very significant. So we go from a low to a lower low on the candles, a low to a higher low on the RSI. So bullish divergence, sign a potential reversal back to the upside. With the bears losing momentum and the stochastic attempting to cross bullish below the 20 zone, Meta is actually looking like one of the nicest stocks currently for a potential reversal back to the upside. Bulls attempting to gain momentum on the MACD for the daily, bullish cross on the stochastic, daily bullish divergence as well. And now we're attempting to bullishly engulf above the fib level. So I'm really liking the looks of Meta currently on both the weekly and daily. Bulls gaining momentum on the MACD for the 4 hour. Stochastic is attempting to cross bullish, but we are above the 80 zone. Bullish control zone on the RSI, and I really like the looks of the attempted bullish engulfing above the fib level here. Bears losing momentum on the MACD for the 1 hour. Bullish cross on the stochastic. We were slightly overbought on the RSI, pulled back to pretty close to neutral, just above the neutral zone. Now we're in the bullish control zone and attempting to bullishly engulf. So yeah, I'd definitely say Meta is probably my favorite looking stock that I've taken a look at today. Alright, well I'll talk to you all tomorrow, and I hope you guys have a great evening.